Hello, it's Katrin with Blend Precisely, and it's Wednesday, October 12th. Did you see? I was totally prepared for the date today. I'm gonna just chat a little bit until some folks might show up, and I just wanted to, you know, basically show up and tell you that today is one of those Wednesdays that Seth and I have divided up. So Seth is doing every other Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and I do the other Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And the reason was why we split it up like this is that we do have some folks over in Australia and Japan, so we want to serve that part of our clients as well. And they are awake basically on Thursday mornings, and so the 7 p.m. On Wednesdays for Seth works well, and I do the 1 p.m. So if you're jumping online today and see me here, let me know that you can hear me. That's always a question. And say hi quickly and your name maybe in case we are streaming into a group and StreamYard is not displaying my name. I don't like that part, but that's mostly the case with third-party streaming software. So today I wanted to give you an overview of business tools, and also I wanted to show you 3 different business scenarios as an aromatherapist. I mean, there are many different more and more showing up every year actually. So aromatherapy is really growing quite a bit, and we see a lot of movement in sorry, in terms of the business direction. But the question often comes up, and I get that quite a bit as well, is like, what is your initial investment actually in terms of what kind of tools you need in the beginning of an aromatherapy business, or in fact, pretty much any kind of product business or consultation business or online business. So there are different scenarios, and I wanted to talk, and I prepared something, and I wanted to talk about that a little bit. So in general, I wanted to just give you a little bit of an idea. When you have a product business, it's most likely your costs are quite a bit different than when you were to teach online, like an online essential oil, let's say essential oil class business. So the costs around a product business are much higher than the costs around an online education system. And that is not only because you need a ton of raw materials, but also because you need a few more different tools maybe to set up. Overall, I would say that you can get up or can get away with an investment of, in the very beginning, with an investment of under $100 a month to get like your entire framework set up. As a comparison right now, we at Blend Precisely, we probably have around $750 to $800 monthly just software costs. And that is obviously because we have, Blend Precisely as a software company, which is just needs some different tools, and that's where Seth can speak much more to. But some different tools, we have to save all the users' data. We need to make sure that there is no security leakage and so on. So we have higher costs as a SaaS service, software as a service business, plus the courses and memberships. So our costs are around $700 to $800 a month in just software business development tools. When you create a product business, your costs will be much higher on the raw ingredient side, not so much on the hosting side of your software. But if you create, for example, a teaching online business, you need way less tools than you would need when you create a product business. So that is just and another thing I would love to hear actually from everyone else in our groups is, what do you spend on a monthly basis on software tools? And that is including your email marketing tool, that's including your website hosting, maybe the tools you use for for your blend creation, like Blend Precisely or Lab Aroma or Drop Smart or so. So what are your monthly costs? And you probably should know them as a business owner. What are those costs on a monthly basis and what are they for? I think it would be super helpful for everyone else to see, just as a comparison, what your costs are. And I'm going to go into it right now. But if you feel motivated enough to share your approximately your monthly costs, I think that would be super helpful. And then we can get more into a discussion. It's like, oh, well, what services do you use? I have created this little research paper for you, and I will give it to you afterwards. But there are many tools on there to choose from. I would always do a price comparison before I would start anything in the software business, because it's a huge field out there. You can have a ton of different um, software tools for just email marketing. So it's crazy. But anyway, I'm going to give you a few suggestions, and let me share the screen. Let me just go over here. Wait a second. Share my screen. And then you should be able to see everything in a second. So I'm going to go over here to this into presenter mode so you see it a little bit better. And let me know if you have questions. So basically, just quickly, what we want to look out for is when you start looking for any kind of tools, you want to make sure that they are simple to use. You want not to have more headaches than you have already with running a business. You also want to make sure that they actually fulfill your current business needs. You know that we all go through phases of our business. But if you get a tool, let's say for creating courses, and you're not sure that you actually want to create courses, don't get that tool right now. But I would suggest, on the other hand, if you know you're going to go into course creation or online membership services or anything like this, then you probably want to start with the tool 3 months before you actually go live. So that's what I mean by your business needs. So it should really meet you where you are at this point. Don't try to run after a beautiful tool just because somebody else mentioned it or because they just did a great job on their marketing. And then obviously it needs to fit your budget. So the price always plays a role. And the customer service, for me, that is like one big thing. If I get a tool and there's not some kind of a chat service or easy contact service available, then that's a no-no. Some customer service tools are just horrible. Some tools have just horrible customer service. So I would not want to use that one. So it is also nice if you know you're starting out over here. Most of the tools you can get on the market right now either have like a free version or have like a very reduced price for like a starter version. And then you can grow with this tool. So you don't need to switch tools or change tools. So I did this, for example, with Kajabi. I started out with the small plan, and then over time I grew with the plan and I could just upgrade. So that was really, really nice, because once you get to know a tool, you really don't want to leave it if it's a good tool. So those ones are a few points. And then you do want to ask yourself just a few questions. Where are you in your business right now? What kind of tools do you need there? What do you need if you're like an intermediate business and you need to actually grow like crazy your customer list? You don't need that maybe in the very beginning of your business, because the first thing you want to do is that your business idea is working. So you want to validate your business. You don't necessarily need like a beautiful, great email marketing system at that point. Later on, yes. Where do you spend most of your time? Track a little bit your time. Where do you actually spend most of your time? And are there any tools out there that could help you with your time management? What is your budget? That's always the question you should ask as well. Is it a service you can actually afford, or is it too expensive? As I mentioned, Kajabi was, I think, $200, and I couldn't afford this in the very beginning when I started out 5 years ago. But now it's not a problem. But in the beginning, you want to choose something which is fitting your budget, but you can grow with it. And then the sixth point here is like what I mentioned already. Can I make enough money to cover the cost for X, Y, and Z? So if you know exactly what you want to do in your business and you know you're going to reach that point in 3 months or 6 months from now, you should probably already invest into a tool that will make your life easier at a later point. And that again was something like Kajabi too for me. For many others, they use Teachable maybe, or there's Thinkific, and then there's Podia, and then there's Mighty Networks, and so on. So to choose a tool that you get familiar with and you can grow with and you get to know before you actually launch your course, for example, if you would want to do that. So getting to know your tools, growing with them, that is like a really big suggestion I would have for you. Try to find tools that can grow with your business. So I just came up with 3 different scenarios here. So when we finish our school, our aromatherapy certification, we can tap into many different businesses. And I don't want to do all of them because that would take way too long. But I just give you the 3 main areas right now aromatherapists are being active in. One is they create a product business. The other one is that they actually create a consultation/product business. That's number 2. And then number 3 is that they go into teaching. And that is just something very beautiful. And you can see these tools I'm suggesting here, the setup of your business is very similar for the first 2, but the third one doesn't need as much as the other ones. Also, the third one, the teaching, most likely doesn't need as many raw ingredients as the first one, the product business. Now, keep in mind that you can create a combination of all of those. You can create a product and a consultation business. You can also create a product and an online teaching type of business. You can do a subscription service where you send out 1 oil a month and then you teach a little bit around the oil. So there's a lot of possibilities we now can do online. It just doesn't need to be just products. It can be a combination of all 3 of them, or just one of them, or even go into a different direction as hospice care and elderlies and children and pregnancy, and work together with other businesses doula businesses or yoga or massage and so on. So there are so many different ways in making aromatherapy as a business work. But I give just 3 scenarios here. Otherwise, we will sit here until tonight. So the very first one is a product e-commerce business. What does that mean? Is that you basically create products to sell them through your online store or in person. And for that, you definitely still need a business email. So you don't want to have an email that says, I don't know, Katrin's aromatherapy at gmail.com. That does not look professional. That's not where you want to go. You really want to have a business email address, and you could have it then as Katrin at katrinaromatherapy.com, for example. You don't want a Gmail in there. You do not want to have Yahoo in there. You don't want to have AOL in there, if that still exists, actually. You do want to have a business email. And that is the same for all 3 of them. You do need an e-commerce website of some sort, or you could also start selling your products first on Etsy or Fair Marketplace. There are different versions as third-party sales. If you're not ready to build your website, you don't have to. You can just straight go to Etsy. Yes, the competition is much larger, and it's also more difficult to really get through the noise there, and you don't have your website, but that could happen at a later point. Or you start out with both of them. It's depending. So then the third one is an email marketing system. You can go very simple. And what I mean by email marketing is that you have a way of collecting email addresses and informing your potential customers about your new products, your services, any tips and tricks you might have, you going live, and so on. So you want to have an email marketing system, and that can be just something like Mailchimp. Mailchimp is free in the beginning. You can set up everything on Mailchimp. You can have opt-ins on Mailchimp. You can have a landing page on Mailchimp. So they are amazing actually for a free version of what they do. That's how I started out as well. What you don't want to do is just go and have an email and your customers will never hear from you, or your potential customers cannot even learn more from you. So you do want to create an email marketing system where you collect your email addresses, you put them all into a beautiful bucket in the very first few months, and then you can segment them out as well, depending if there are maybe some people liking more the information about rheumatoid arthritis products versus baby products, or pet aromatherapy products. So segmenting happens at a later point. But in the very beginning, just a simple email marketing system where you collect all the emails and you can let them know on a monthly basis, hopefully weekly basis, what you're up to and your business. You do need to have some kind of a payment system connected most likely to your website, and that is something like Stripe or PayPal. Then when you are actually selling in person, you probably want to have some kind of a POS system, which is point of sale system. So some kind of a card slider, maybe you take Apple Pay, maybe you take Google Pay, but you need to think about that as well. Then number 6, finances. As soon as possible, you want to start with either QuickBooks or FreshBooks. There are different finance systems. Get a bookkeeper or an accountant who can set you up correctly, and then you can do it yourself if you wish, and if you have the time. If you have the money, I would definitely outsource bookkeeping because it is a tedious task, but once it's set up correctly, and that's why I think I would hire someone in the beginning, then you can just actually do it yourself. That's how simple it can be once it's set up correctly. But you do want to make sure you have a proper system because it makes it so much easier at the end of the year to do taxes. You want to have some kind of a formulation and costing software, and that can be anything like Lab Aroma, Dropsmith for formulations, obviously Blend Precisely for the costing part and saving your recipes and the safety information, and maybe putting together a nice thing for your customers where you can copy and paste the charts out and so on. So some kind of a formulation and costing software. You can go as simple as Excel spreadsheets, but I will say it takes much longer in terms of time. I would rather take that time and put it into social media than spending it in Excel spreadsheets. Same for bookkeeping. And then you want to have definitely a design tool like Canva. There are many other tools to create your social media posts, to even create an invoice, logo, branding, any kind of marketing materials you might want to take to markets with you, and so on. So you want to have a design tool for that. Let me just see if, let me just quickly see. Oh, there are no questions right now. Okay, so I'm going to if you have questions, let me know. I'm just going to keep on sharing the screen for the next version of our business tool. And I'm going to present again. So the second part here, let me see if I can make it a little bit bigger. Not very much. That's already as big as it goes. Okay. Aromatherapy consultation business. Now, if you're more into a consultation business rather than a pure product business, which is very different, you probably need to have some kind of a CRM system in addition to most of the same things as you need in a product business. What you don't need really is a point of sales system. So that one falls away if you just have a consultation business, because you literally can create an invoice, send it to your customer through your website. or create an invoice in Stripe and send it to your customer and collect payments this way. You don't need to have some kind of a POS system right away in the beginning for selling your consultations. So you would do this, they can book it online, they can pay immediately online, and then they show up for your consultations and everything has been taken care of. What you do want to look at here in this case is some kind of a booking app in addition, something like Calendly or Appointment Thing, or I think Acuity Scheduling it's called. There are all kinds of different booking calendars where people can go, or your potential clients can go and just book like a discovery session, or even just their straight out consultation. So that you probably this one is an addition which you don't need when you have a product business, but a booking app you need to consider, and then some kind of a CRM system or tracking. So a CRM system is basically where you can log your client's progress, where you can log the information, notes you take throughout the consultation. There are great tools already out there for businesses like ours, therapy businesses. They're a little bit pricier, but they sometimes come already with a built-in booking app and also with a built-in website possibility. So you can look into these all-in-one tools as well. They might be higher in price, but it's something maybe you want to consider if you really feel like this is your field of interest you want to stay in, consultations. That's up to you. I'm going to show you a small example after we took the third one here. So the aromatherapy online teaching business, that's something I think which is more and more upcoming and is relatively easy to set up. You do need a business email, you do need email marketing, you do need the finances. You might want to, if you do a teaching business, you might want to have a formulation and costing software included in your business, so that you can actually showcase your formulations or your suggestions. You can also, with Blend Precisely, you can become an affiliate. You can actually create an extra income stream through that. You definitely do need your design tools as well. That will always be the case. If you cannot afford a designer, you do want to have a design tool like Canva. And then you need some kind of a course platform or membership platform, wherever you can host your courses and memberships, or just single lessons. And there are different tools as well available. A lot of these course platforms come at some cheaper prices than Kajabi. They also do most of the stuff Kajabi does. It is more of a preference thing. Kajabi does a lot in terms of you can do courses, memberships, you can do podcasts, you can do actually consultations now in Kajabi as well. Like you can have a consultation business in Kajabi. And you can do also your email marketing, you get a website. So you do get a whole bunch of things in these all-in-one tools. The downside is definitely they are more expensive in the beginning, but they save a ton of headache in the long run. So if you're really sure about your business choice or endeavor, then you probably want to choose the right tool from the beginning. In all cases, you do need insurance and your business policies placed, and you do want to make sure you have some kind of a business structure. If it is a sole proprietor or if it is an LLC, it doesn't really matter. In the beginning, I would always suggest an LLC to just separate your private and business costs, but also that in case something happens, that your private equity or your private finances are safe and nobody can go after them, which is not the case with a sole proprietor. They can go after your entire wealth if there's anything. And also, you know, I think an LLC is just in general just much, much better to have. And it's nice to separate out your costs for sure, no matter what business structure you have. Always make sure you have a bank account, which is just geared towards businesses and you don't mingle your private and your business costs and expenses and income, of course. So I will go and put this one up for you because I've got all these different links available for you, and you can draw the information from it. But in general, I just wanted to show you like the simple practice management. If you have a consultation business, for example, these platforms like Thera Platform or Theranest or Simple Practice are available, and they have like a scheduling and documentation and billing system already built in. And the basic one is $39. And then you also have here some other tools in the Pro version and Pro Plus version. So every tool is a little bit different, and you probably want to see if you can find a trial and see if you like it. If it's too complicated, maybe take another one and you can try out. So this one, Simple Practice, for example, lets you build a website, but at the same time has a client portal and scheduling software, documentation, billing. So on the go mobile access for probably the video calls. I haven't used them. I just basically heard about them, and because I don't do consultations right now anymore where I need to have these type of softwares, I do them now through Kajabi. You might want to consider to look into those ones, especially if they are HIPAA compliant. So that's a nice thing to have in one of your therapy platforms. So that is pretty much it for today. Let me know if this was helpful. It's actually something I think we all should look into, is like, what do you really, really need in the beginning? What can you save for later? And is it fulfilling your business needs in that case? Is it really something you need in your business, or is it just something somebody else told you about and you actually don't need it? So something where you can build a community, where you can schedule your social media posts. And again, everything is in this document I'm going to give you later on. So you want to just make sure that you don't overdo it with new tools in the beginning, because we have so much to think about in our business, and simplicity always wins. It always does. So if you only have 10 clients, you don't need a platform where you have your CRM system and your billing system and everything in one. But if you go towards 20, 30, 40, 50 clients, you might want to consider to have a system that works perfectly for you. So this is it. This is it. If you're coming in after, if you watch this one live later on, let me know. The question really is, what do you spend on your software tools on a monthly basis, and which ones do you have? And please include, if you can, your website hosting, your tools you use around, like Canva, if you have Canva, or if you have any kind of social media posting platforms. Let us know what you use so we can share it with the others, and we can all help each other to find maybe the most suitable one for our businesses. That would be really lovely. All right. I will talk to you really, really soon. I wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And next week is back with Seth. And that's it. Have a wonderful week. Bye. Ciao.